This is JT's last knife I'm going to sharpen up. This is another mini grip, limited production. This one is in M390 steel, I do believe. I've got it taped up so I can't see it. I said in my other video it was carbon fiber. It's not carbon fiber. These are purple scales with a blue backspacer or blue liners and blue barrel standoffs. I'm not sure if he dyed this himself or what. I'm going to use a few different stones on this guy. I'm going to start, of course, with my 400 Latte. Then we're going to take it to a King 1200. And I think I'm going to finish this on an Arkansas Soft. That's the plan, that's the goal. Now if I start taking it to the Arkansas stone, and this actually has a really nice heat treat, and I'm unable to get anything accomplished, then of course I'll switch and we'll edit the video. The choil on this one was actually done proper. It does not need any enhancement. And the edge is actually really thin. Behind the edge is really thin, that is. It's got a few little nicks in the apex, nothing too serious. They should come right out. I wasn't able to get the thumb studs off of this guy. There's I don't know how they got this thing on here. There's like an inclusion inside of this side of the thumb stud, so I wasn't able to get my Weehaw Torx bit in there to take it off. And you have to have two Torx bit, one on each side, to remove Benchmade's thumb studs. I prefer to remove them before I sharpen, just so I don't scratch anything up in case I screw my angle up. After I praised Benchmade about getting the sharpening tool right, I can see where I'm starting to get a little flare back in the back. And just the tiniest recurve where it's getting differential grinding. Like I said, we're going to go a little differently in our progression today. So that was the Imanishi Latte 400. This is the King 1200. I watched Jay Davis use this stone, and he made the comment that you could actually reprofile a knife with this stone if you had the patience. And I tried that a few times. It can be done, but it's not fun, let me tell you. This stone, although it is very, very versatile, you can get a finished edge, and you can reprofile a knife. It does cut kind of slow. At least on some steels. I say that, and I've already got a burr built. And the scratch pattern's pretty much ready to go. Maybe I just need to quit talking. Because everything I'm saying today is getting thrown out the window. I'm going to do some finishing passes and we'll go to the Arkansas stone. Many guys like to do edge trailing strokes, and I will do them occasionally, but for the most part I prefer to do edge leading strokes. The reason being is, as you do edge trailing strokes, the tendency for a burr to develop is much greater. Even if you're finishing or trying to break the burr off, it's very easy to create a foil edge directly on the apex of the knife. So I'm just not the biggest proponent of edge trailing. I would rather do edge leading. That way whatever's on there will get cut off, as opposed to pulling it into a very unstable foil edge. I'm all done with this stone. So this is a soft Arkansas stone. I don't think I've ever sharpened M390 on an Arkansas stone before, on video that is. It is very slow, so I may edit some of this out so you guys don't bear the brunt of how long this is going to take. And if it looks like Benchmade did a really good heat treat and this stone is not going to cut it, I'll just do a few passes, I'll edit the video, and we'll come back on my finishing stone, which will probably be the Nubatama 4K and then the 8K. We'll just finish it out the way we finished the other knives. We'll see how this goes. Now I'm using, as a lubricant, 1 part baby oil, 1 part dish soap, 4 parts water. It is a recipe I got from Caleb McCullough. He uses it for his straight razors, and I use it for all sorts of things. My Arkansas stones, a lot of my scythe stones, India, Norton crystalline. It's just a very versatile, anything you can use oil with, this is a perfect candidate. So, looks like Benchmade's M390 is a little harder and tougher than I imagined. That Arkansas stone wasn't doing a whole lot to it. Switching over to the Nubatama 4K. I've already got a slurry put on this stone. It's not going to require much, although that Arkansas stone wasn't doing a whole lot. It was polishing the apex. This 4K will probably give it a little more bite. So we're not going to spend a terrible amount of time on this guy. Once again, Strop Brothers strop, white compound, and it actually looks like it needs to be loaded. That's actually got a nicer polish, I think, than when I came off the 8K stone. I'll have to attribute that to the Arkansas. Forgot to start recording. First test was 83. $121 and 83. Doing the average, it comes out to 96. Again, freehand, I'll take that all day, every day. Well, it wasn't quite the edge I was wanting. I was hoping to get a Arkansas stone edge on here so JT could compare the two. This is M390 and so is his Ritter grip. They're both about the same thickness behind the edge. Instead, he'll have a 4K edge versus an 8K edge. Still something he can compare and contrast. That turned out really nice, actually. I'm actually impressed with the results. For a 4K stone, that Ume sure does polish well. Now I've ran out of my normal Harbor Freight paper, so I've been using their in-store coupon stuff that shows their sales. It's kind of like newspaper. I think it's flimsier than newspaper though. It's much more difficult to cut. Yeah, this stuff is much more difficult to cut than newsprint or phone book paper. If you don't believe me, go down to your Harbor Freight and get their in-store ads, bring it home, and try cutting them. It's not a fun time. Well, this is the last of JT's knives. I appreciate him sending them on for me to take a look at, and as well as to sharpen. I get asked occasionally how much I charge to sharpen knives. I do not charge, guys. This is a free service if you decide you want to take me up on that. The only stipulation I have is if your knife gets lost in the mail or it gets damaged, I will not be held responsible. And when I say damage, that includes damage that might incur because of me. Now, before I attempt something like a sharpening notch enhancement, I will talk to you beforehand. I won't just do it. If you decide against doing something like that for fear of me messing it up, and the edge gets jacked up during the sharpening process, again, those sort of things are not something I'll be held liable for. I will sharpen your knife for free if you decide you want to take me up on that offer. You just have to pay for shipping, and you have to agree to my my little stipulation of not being held liable for any damages. I've never had anything happen to anyone's knife yet, knock on wood, but I have to throw that out there just in case. This is a pretty knife. I really like it. Plus it's M390 and it seems to be heat treated fairly well. Doesn't have that amazing Ritter grit stonewash, but it's not a bad stonewash. Benchmade does a really good job. Well guys, I appreciate you checking this out. If you have any questions or comments, as always, leave them below. Y'all have a good one.